IFRIG started, it was incorporated in 2019 with the aim of conducting research in non-interest banking and finance. And as we speak today, we've conducted almost 4 conferences currently as we are speaking. And since the inception of these non-interest banking advocacy, we've gotten the government and the central bank, buy into it. And currently the central bank is working to get us the regulation passed. Once the government is able to pass the regulation, that the central bank is able to pass the regulation, what it means is that we can be able to start non-interest banking in the country. But in the meantime, what is very important is our financial inclusion and sustainable development. We have been going, out there to look for loans and so on. We are saying that there is an alternative because the level of indebtedness of the country is very, very high. So we are saying that there is an alternative, method that we can be able to raise funds and build our own country in terms of infrastructure development and so on, getting us our own hospitals without suffering too much debt and so on. So for now, we believe that once the government is able to pass it, we are going to be more or less like a free people in the country. We are hoping that after this conference, the central bank should be able to pass the regulations because the time is now. Ghanaians believe that they can have cheaper source of funding their businesses and other stuff. So it's very, very important. Clarion call to both Ghanaians, both Muslims, non-Muslims, everybody is all about financial inclusion. Non-interest bank is about financial inclusion. Money has no religion, money has no tribe, money has no relation. But what money has is to build us and make us a better people in the country. So we believe that once we are able to pass this regulation or get the regulation in the country, we are going to become a free people.
Non-interest banking and finance is something that is not new, but it's something that we are yet to implement. The 2016 Banks and Specialized Deposit-Taking Institutions Act actually made provision for it as one of the permissible activities. Since passage of the law, we have not really moved on to implementation. But this is something that the current governor, Dr. Johnson Pandita-Siama, has taken on board seriously. And to demonstrate that commitment, he has appointed an advisor on non-interest banking in the person of Professor John Gachi, who is well known among the non-interest banking fraternity as a champion. What we are seeking to do is to diversify access to banking and financial services. Non-interest banking, for me, is another model of banking. The traditional banking model is based on interest. You borrow or you use somebody's resources and you pay for that usage through an interest model. In non-interest banking, you are not paying interest, but rather you are joining somebody that is willing to share in your risk and share in the profit. So it is another way of providing for investment and banking services. And so it expands the scope for banking in the country. It allows other people who may not have the collateral that is usually required in the traditional banking system to be part of the system because it's based on another model which is risk sharing and profit sharing. So the Bank of Ghana thinks that this is very important to growing, especially dealing with financial inclusion, reducing financial exclusion. And so by bringing this on board, we hope to expand access to finance at an individual and corporate level. But even at a national level, as we all heard, the Sukuk, which is a bond, non-interest bond, allows you to raise large sums of money to undertake investment projects such as road construction, energy interventions and all that. So we are looking for another way to expand access to finance for the nation, for the inhabitants of the nation. At this stage, I think it's more of the sensitization, because in the background, the bank is working on the rules and regulations that will guide the evolution of non-interest banking. But in the meantime, we need to sensitize the public. There are a lot of misconceptions that are going on. So for me, this conference allows some of those issues to be addressed. As people understand the concept and as they inform others about it, its pickup will be much better when it is introduced. So this is all part of the preparatory ground. I think as the governor, former governor said, there's a lot of misinformation about non-interest banking, to the extent that they think it's Islamic, it's based on Sharia law, so, like if you default, they cut your hand or they plug your eye or something like that. But that is not the case. So these seminars and these conferences and the education that the Bank of Ghana is doing is just meant to educate people on what the reality of non-interest banking is. And so once we build that understanding, then when it is introduced, there will be uptake, and therefore the benefits that we anticipate will accrue to the nation. So for now, the focus is on building understanding, building acceptance, building knowledge about the products and the services. I think it's a good opportunity at this time that we are doing this. As we heard the President say, the big push is about infrastructure development. It needs a lot of resources. So Islamic finance through the Sukuk market will provide us another opportunity to raise funds. And as we heard about the example in Nigeria, if we can do this, our country will be the better for it.